Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. Here we are reading Psalms II.II on 12:12. If I'm not mistaken, today is the 12th. Yes, 12:12. We're reading Psalm book II.II, part II.II. We're going to start out here with chapter 61, but before we do, we're going to get into this quote here. Nothing is more certain than uncertainties. Fortune is full of fresh variety, constant in nothing but inconsistency. This is Mr. Richard Barnfield, 1574, 1627. Alright, this is like Shakespeare era, you guys. This was quite a while ago, from the Shepherd's Content, version 11. Had to think for a second, version 11 or section 11. But here we are, right, reading the Shepherd's content, reading about a former shepherd. David, okay, was a shepherd, a young, small shepherd child, youngest brother of, like 12, 10, something of that nature. This young shepherd, right? And he has this lust for life that no one has ever witnessed before. Well, I take that back. There's probably been a few witnesses of a good lust for life that we've read about in the Bible specifically. But really, 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 really determined and connected and hopeful for his life with the Lord, and loves his life, loves to live. You know, even though he goes through some things from time to time, he is forever grateful because simply he's connected to the Lord, and he has this connection, and he feels it, and it fuels him, and it motivates him. And this is something we could all learn from in order to access this happiness that we talked about before. But now we read this quote here: nothing is more certain than uncertainties. Fortune is full of fresh variety, constant in nothing but inconsistency. So a bit of a pessimistic view, but it does not do us any wrong to take it to heart. It's very true, right? Nothing is more certain than the uncertainties that happen. But the uncertainties, or it's really uncertainty, maybe uncertainty. The uncertainty can either stress us out and be anxiety inducing, or it can be fun, right? It can be fun to live by the seat of your pants, go with the flow, that type of thing. You know, whatever comes your way, you're happy and you're excited and you're grateful. All right, the uncertain part can be very exciting versus anxiety inducing. So again, it's the flip of the coin. However you choose to view things is how they will play out emotionally. And then it says here, fortune is full of fresh variety. And again, this variety can be either overwhelming and having like decision fatigue and everything like that, or it can be a blessing and it can be ease and convenience for you. We always hear about, you know, the riches and how they aren't everything, and they cause people a lot of stress and, you know, self-doubt and, you know, a little bit of an imposter syndrome when they are greeted with a great fortune. And then it says here, it's constant in nothing but inconsistency, right? Constant in nothing but inconsistency. So we might feel this way sometimes, that, you know, when the riches are flowing, we feel good, we feel happy, but when they are not, we feel stranded and we feel left alone, and we want to be alone, and it doesn't feel good to be in this inconsistent flow of life. But again, we can look at this in a light way, and we have to figure out how to find that light in the uncertain and in the inconsistent times, and we're all working on it together, quite truthfully. So, no fear, we are not alone, and this is the message that David speaks about again and again in this very long book of Psalms. This section I'm going to read you is very short, but I'm just saying the book in general is very long, and he just talks about, you know, how to find peace in the madness, right? We have chapter 61, increase the days of the king's life, his years for many generations. May he be enthroned in God's presence forever. Appoint your love and faithfulness to protect him. David is talking about himself, okay? He wants his days of his life to be increased. And we did talk about how that expiration date is written, right? It's written, but only God does have the power to expand and to stretch and to lengthen, to extend. This is all the work of Al-Basit, the extender, right? You know, you ever wonder, some days just seem longer than the rest. Some days just seem longer than the rest, and that is the work of Basit. Some weeks, some months just go on. But then again, we talked about how quickly time can fly by us without even realizing as well. It all depends, again, flip of the coin, how you are living and how you are deciding to operate and participate. Increase the days of the king's life. May he be enthroned in God's presence forever. My salvation and my honor depend on God. He is my mighty rock, my refuge. Because you are my help, I sing in the shadow of your wings. They encourage each other in evil plans. They talk about hiding in their snares. They say, who will see it? But God will shoot them with his arrows. They will suddenly be struck down. Who stilled the roaring of the seas? The roaring of the seas, the roaring of their waves, and the turmoil of the nations. I think that's supposed to be another word, but I'll fix it later. We're almost done. He rules forever by his power. His eyes watch the nations. Let not the rebellious rise up against him. I cry out to him with my mouth. His praise was on my tongue. May God bless us still, so that the ends of the earth will fear him. And again, that riveting, it's just a riveting energy that David has. He has no fear. And I think that is some of the plagues that strike us with inconsistency, right? It's like either we're happy and we're good and we're safe and we feel provided for and protected, or we have this fear that, of lack. Really, that's what it is, a fear of lack, or that we're exposed and vulnerable and anything could happen at any time and we won't be ready. David does not have that fear, but he prays that his enemies feel that fear. He prays that his enemies feel that fear of God, of the Lord. And when you do have that fear of God, of the Lord, that is only used, right? Only mentioned. What am I trying to say? Only like there was a word that I'm thinking of, but it has escaped me. But that fear of the Lord is only used to bring us closer to the Lord, to be able to recognize the Lord and see his face and, bow down and really be humbled by the witness of the Lord and the recognition of the Lord and knowing his power. That is the other great thing. It's not supposed to cause us this stress and this inconsistency and things like that. That's not the intention. That's why we have to strengthen, right? Strengthen in the Lord, strengthen. The fear of the Lord is very important, and it's a very important tool. And David prays for it a lot, a lot. As we can see, each section of the Psalms, there is always a section about him or about an ask of the Lord to go ahead and take down his enemies, and he's certainly doing so. So exciting, I guess, to say the least. This is the uncertain excitement that we have about the unknown. We should be excited. Let me grab my book just so I can see if I can prepare this line. There was a line. 50, 60. Solid as a rock. Who stilled the roaring of the seas. Oh, it is roaring, put twice. I thought there was another word here. Stilled the roaring of the seas. The roaring of the waves. and the turmoil of the nations, right? So only God has the power, right? But also that power is within us, and that's how we are able to connect with God and see the light and see the hope and experience the full expansion of his power, as David has certainly felt, right? Because it is in us, we are able to connect, and we should. Oh my. Alright. I have to go, you guys. I'm going to prepare myself for the day with a mighty fist, and have a great, powerful rest of your week. Almost done. And rejoice and be glad. Good night, or goodbye, you guys. I'll talk to you later.